Animals often look orderly, logical, sensible. That's a complete lie. Nature constantly produces creatures that work brilliantly while looking like somebody coded them at 3 a.m. and never debugged the result. Some animals have built-in tools, some ignore their own biology, and some behave like their internal software is one update away from crashing. Welcome to Weird Animal Facts, Part 1. Let's start with a creature that dresses like a gentleman but behaves like a controlled malfunction. Penguin. Penguins look like polite little gentlemen in tuxedos, but their biology and behavior are anything but polite. They drink seawater straight. Above their eyes sits a special salt gland that filters excess salt from their blood and pushes it out as concentrated droplets near the beak. A built-in desalination plant in your forehead because you live your whole life in something you technically can't drink. Their movement is just as odd. On land, they waddle like someone wearing shoes 2 sizes too small, but underwater they turn into torpedoes. They can launch themselves out of the ocean in a clean 10-foot vertical jump. It looks like magic, but it's just hydrodynamics doing its thing. If a mother loses her chick, she may try to steal another one when the parents are distracted. She carries it around, tries to care for it, and then abandons the whole project after about a week. Penguins don't process grief gently. They cope through improvisation, and not very well. And emperor penguins sometimes wander away from their colony, heading inland toward the mountains. Return them, and they turn around and walk straight back toward the mountains again, as if following a corrupted compass file. Nobody really knows why. Maybe sensory overload, maybe neurological stress, or maybe just the Antarctic version of I need a moment. Panda. Pandas are walking contradictions. Their digestive system is built like a carnivore's, but they eat almost nothing but bamboo, one of the least calorie-dense, hardest-to-digest plants on Earth. It's like owning a Ferrari and filling the tank with soggy cardboard. Because bamboo gives them almost no energy, they have to eat for up to 16 hours a day. And since they can't extract much from it, they produce a constant rain of poop, around 100 times daily. Not because they're messy, but because their stomach simply refuses to turn bamboo into meaningful fuel. Despite the memes, pandas aren't stupid. They're just specialized in a direction that no longer makes much sense. Their ancestors ate more varied food, but pandas locked themselves into bamboo because it was abundant and safe. Evolution doesn't ask if a plan is smart. It only asks if the plan works long enough to raise the kids. In the wild, pandas navigate forests, climb absurdly well, and mate reliably during their tiny fertility window. The whole idea that pandas don't know how to panda mostly comes from zoos, not from the mountains of Sichuan. Crow. A crow is basically a small, feathered intelligence experiment that escaped the lab. They understand death. When a crow dies, others gather around the body in silence, studying it closely like they're running a field investigation. They're not mourning in a human way. They're gathering information about what killed their relatives so they can avoid the same danger. Their social rules are strict. If a crow kills a fellow member without cause, the others may attack it and drive it out. Effectively, a death sentence in crow society. Crows can remember a human face for years, and if you wrong them, they don't just remember. They broadcast that information to the whole community. New generations may grow up already disliking you because their parents told them you're trouble. Masks don't always help. Crows also read posture and recurring visual patterns. They're also problem-solving masterminds. Tool use, planning, multi-step puzzles, water displacement to raise floating food. They do all of it. If crows had thumbs, we'd all be unemployed. Axolotl. The axolotl is what happens when evolution offers you adulthood, and you politely decline. They stay in their larval form forever, keeping their external gills, their baby face, and their fully aquatic lifestyle. This condition, called neoteny, isn't a flaw, it's strategy. If land is unstable and water is safer, why change? Their real superpower is regeneration. Lose a limb, it regrows. Lose part of your spinal cord, it regrows. Lose pieces of your heart, they return. Axolotls rebuild organs with the calmness of someone reattaching a loose button. Scientists have experimented with axolotls for over a century, Move a limb bud to the wrong place and they'll grow a functional limb there, and often regrow a replacement at the original location too. Some experiments even fused axolotls into chimera pairs, and at one point a two-headed axolotl nearly formed before the secondary head detached. Axolotls are native only to Lake Xochimilco near Mexico City, and in the wild they're critically endangered due to habitat loss. In captivity, meanwhile, they've become goth-cute ambassadors of the amphibian world, smiling calmly while defying every biological rule they can find. Snail. Snails and slugs share the same blueprint, shell-optional, but the simplicity ends there. A snail's tongue, the radula, is a conveyor belt lined with up to 14,000 microscopic teeth. They rasp food like a living cheese grater disguised as a soap bar. Limpet species have fewer teeth, but their teeth are made from the strongest biological material known. Stronger than spider silk, stronger than titanium alloys. Cone snails take things further. They hunt using a venomous hollow tooth that works like a harpoon. They fire it, paralyze prey instantly, and slurp it whole. Some cone snail venoms can kill humans. Being intimidated by an animal the size of your thumb carrying a biochemical sniper rifle is perfectly reasonable. Snails can glide over razor blades because their slime changes viscosity under pressure, turning into a thick gel that spreads their weight so evenly the blade never cuts the foot. What looks soft and harmless is actually advanced materials engineering. Some snails sleep for 3 years straight. Others grow nearly a meter long. Slow doesn't mean simple. Bees are tiny, but their influence is enormous. There are more than 20,000 species, and most of them don't make honey. Honeybees became famous because we like their work ethic. A single bee makes less than a gram of honey in its entire life, passed through a long chain of regurgitation from bee to bee until it ends up sealed in a wax cell. Bees see ultraviolet patterns on flowers that humans can't perceive. They can smell TNT better than dogs, and researchers train them to detect landmines by pairing explosives with food rewards. They can even solve basic arithmetic, addition and subtraction, using visual cues in controlled experiments. Then there are the vulture bees, a lineage that evolved to eat rotting meat instead of nectar. Their gut bacteria change so much that the honey they make is technically edible, but definitely not something you want to put on toast. Bees essentially hold ecosystems together. Depending on how you count it, roughly 60% of human food crops rely on pollinators, and bees carry a huge share of that workload. Without them, entire landscapes would collapse long before we realized what had gone wrong. Before you go, subscribe so you don't miss part 2. For the real ones who stay till the end. Stay curious and see you in the next one.